and I know he may preach gospel. Listen, we don't need to exegete nothing.
Well, let me see
amen.
here real quick. All right, so now I got to go ahead and go to. All right, now what is this? All right, check this out, y'all. Check this out. Check this out. Go to. Okay, we're gonna keep that on pause. And
You're supposed to put.
all right. Okay. So I want to welcome everybody. Welcome to this is the training number 2. I'm Matthew Salih, also known as So Real. In part 1, all we did was we gave a big introduction to each other. And in this here, we're not going to go and do that unless, hey, we got some new people, obviously. We were basically talking about who we are, just telling about ourselves and also our own personal encounters with professing Hebrews. And let me tell you, there were some interesting stories. People had shared some things. And then after that, I asked for each person to give like a question or a topic, of interest or concern, moving forward with our trainings. Because other than that, our trainings are really like an open Q&A, but it also involves the main thing, which is tools. Like I said, for the past 11 years of my life, I have, been doing a lot of ministry, helping, people out of, Hebrew Israelism and things, talking with them face to face, and also, with dialogues and debates and things. And, last year, I decided to go ahead and, just hang it up, move on just a little bit. Um, and all of, my videos and things, and even my blog are all online for people to just kind of explore and study for themselves, you know. Um, and so now I'm here pretty much in the Clubhouse afterlife, just giving people just basically 11 years worth of tools and work that I wish there was around like 10 years ago. But with that being said, this is what I need you guys to do. I need you guys to go on Google Chrome or any browser on your phone or on your internet computer. So I'm gonna give you guys about 10 seconds to do that, and from there, you're gonna type in exactly what I say. Type in exactly what I say.
Microsoft Bing is okay.
Yep, Microsoft Edge is just fine. Yep. All right. You're gonna type in youtube.com. By the way, in the title, I did say this is recorded. However, this is unlisted, which means that no one is seeing this right now unless I give them the following link, which I've given to no one. So you don't have to worry about anything. All right. So everyone type in youtube.com slash, and that's a forward slash, by the way. Watch, WATCH, question mark, V as in Violet, equal sign, capital D, M, capital O, capital G, X, capital T, capital K, N as in no, M as in Mark, capital O, S. All right. And someone can unmute and tell me what you see. Video unavailable?
Yeah.
Hold on just one moment. All right, so let's just give me 1 second. All right, let's see here. And I'm gonna refresh this. I got an idea. All right, so what I'll do is I'm gonna copy this, and since we now have our messenger, I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste this link into y'all's messenger. And I'm gonna go ahead and see if it works that way. So just give me 1 second here. Man, I don't understand why it should be working. That doesn't make sense at all.
Is it located directly on YouTube? They can just go to YouTube and you just give them the title. Oscar, is this just Christians?
Yeah, pretty much, mostly. But yeah, this is unlisted, so I definitely know that it wouldn't really work all like that.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
Check your little airplane.
Yep, I did. Yep. Just give me 1 more minute, y'all. Oh, cool. What's up, Divine? Word. All right, give me 1 more minute. Technology. Stuff you gotta do. Okay, here it is. And copy. I'll wait for this to refresh. Okay, here it is. And copy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paste this into all of your inboxes here. Arno, I'm going to start with you.
I am driving. Should I, if you're teaching, I'll stay on, but do you think that it would be like I should drive and listen, or will I not be able to really do that?
Oh yeah, you'll be able to really connect. I just know that I'm trying to do something a little different from the rest of the clubhouses, and hopefully it kind of catches on as a trend. So, all right, Cynthia, you're next. And let's see who else. And finally, okay, Cherry, you're next. And for you. And as I'm sending you guys this link, please let me know if it's working. That's so odd for it not to work. I don't understand why it wouldn't work. Just give me a second. And this one is for you. And last one is Kevin. All right, so I'm going to go and get this Kevin. And as you guys are receiving this, can anyone tell me what they see? Just tell me what you see.
I think it's working because I see like a live chat video up on YouTube.
Okay. And do you see us?
Yeah, it's working.
Yes! Gosh, okay. Finally. Okay, this is great. So, let's just say that I used some pretty sophisticated apps to kind of do this. I know that a lot of people in Clubhouse pretty much get together. Well, with me, what I wanted to do is, because I'm giving you guys like the tools that I've had for the past 11 years, I wanted it to be visual. Definitely wanted it to be visual. So this is what I have. So far, we got everybody here, and so with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get started. You know, now to make sure that we're not gonna leave anybody behind, I'm basically gonna ask the same question that I asked during session number one, because session number one went so beautiful. We really got into some good stuff. John 1 4, I mean, Revelation 1:14. We showed some tools, and hopefully you guys downloaded either My Sword or Pocket Sword, and you'll see why in just a little bit. All right. So first off, I believe who wasn't here last time. I think the only person, yeah, the only two people who weren't here before, um, I believe was Shaki and Reginald, and I think that's Reggie. He's from I believe he's from the Father's Well ministry that I have. We get together every Sunday. So, Shaki, if you could, um, just give us just a little intro about, just about yourself, and who you are and your experience at Clubhouse, and also just any experience that you've had with, you know, um, the Hebrew Israelite movement, any at all.
Okay, so I'm Shaki. Uh, Something about myself. I don't know. I'm a Christian. I've dealt with Hebrew Israelites, but they kind of, the ones that I've dealt with, they kind of pushed me away from that faith. I don't know what to say. What else do you want me to say?
No, I mean, hey, that's it. You know what I mean? If that's all you got to share, then that's absolutely fine.
I'm just curious though. Are you a Christian or are you a Hebrew Israelite?
I'm a Christian. I'm definitely a Christian. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem. No problem. Yeah, y'all. Yeah. This is a definitely a free space. I don't want anyone to feel uptight or anything like that. You share what you desire to share, and anything else you want to reserve, that is a-okay. Um, so next we're gonna go to Reginald. RW, you there?
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
Okay, yeah, I thought that was you. What's going on, Rex?
Hey man, how you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. Doing good. Shoot, I'm trying to get everybody else in here. So yeah, you can go ahead and share what it is you want to share, man.
First off, I want to say Mac is an amazing teacher. I am a part of his ministry, the Father's Well, and I've learned so much and grew. I am a former Hebrew Israelite, so Mac was one of the people that informed me, and helped me come out of their way of thinking. So I thank God for him.
Hey, man. Dang, I shoot. Hey, you know what? As long as I can help, then that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't even about me at all. I would die if I couldn't serve others. And I think we should all have that attitude. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And the first thing I want to ask, and I know that there's still plenty of people that need to make it. There's some people that I believe, that were here that weren't here before. I was hoping they would be here, but only a little bit of them are actually here. Nevertheless, that's okay. We'll just have to go ahead and go without them. Hopefully, they'll be able to catch up. So, I want to know if you were here last time, if you were here last week or earlier this week. Can you simply just blink your mute buttons? I just need to see who is here. Okay. Okay, Arno, good. You were here. Kevin, you were here. And Janelle, you were here. Okay, good. So, And Latasha, I think wasn't she here last week? Earlier this week?
Yes, she was.
Okay,
I
good.
got her in.
All right, so question number 2. If you downloaded Pocket Sword, can you please blink your mute mics? Blink your mute mics if you downloaded the Pocket Sword app. Okay, good. So that's 1, 2, 3. All right. And for the rest of you, if you downloaded My Sword, can you blink your mute apps? You blink your mute buttons if you downloaded My Sword. Okay. This is going to be a tough crowd today. That's okay, though. So let me see. If you're still looking at your screen, then we're going to go ahead to here.
I got Logos and Blue Letter Bible Hub, so I should be able to follow you. Yes or no?
I gotta get I gotta get Logos. I gotta get Logos. All right, so guys, if you're looking at your screen, you're looking at a tool that I've been using for years, and it's something that I'm definitely gonna give and share with you guys. Now, you guys do remember that last week we were going over very simple concepts, and of course, this wasn't here. The visual was not here at all. Oh wait, hold on, that is right. Time out. I need to go ahead and give the rest of the visual links to everybody else. Oh man, dang, I feel bad. Just give me 1 second here. All right, so in about 30 seconds, everyone can go ahead and check their inboxes, and when you get your link, I simply just want you to click on that link. All right, so let's go ahead and so you as well. All right, so Mary J. Wade, we got her. And also, who else? All right, next is Bethany. Once again, I'm giving you guys a link. And once you get that link, just simply click it. I'm doing this one by one, so just give me a little bit of time here. Let's see. Okay. And Vinny, all right, so now I'm going to go ahead and do you. And once you get the link, just simply click it so that way you can follow along. And next
Brother
up.
Matt, I'm sorry, Brother Matt, I didn't get the link to Mary.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it to you again. I thought I gave it. Let me see here real quick. All right, so let's go back to Mary. Okay. Wow, it actually didn't. It didn't send. All right, let's wait for it.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
All right, no problem. And next up is Sela. All right, Sela, in a few seconds, you're going to check your inbox. All right. Oh, wow, I see what I was doing. Okay, I have to hit the send button twice. So, Brittany, you just got yours. Now I'm going to go back to Vinny D. I know one thing. Clubhouse has got to make some kind of group text. But either way, I'm going to work with these humble beginnings for right now. Okay, Bethany, you got yours. All right, Sela. All right, Dr. Abba. All All right, now I'm going to go ahead and give you yours. There we go. All right, and let's see. What else? You know what? Yep, I'll do it anyway. So, it's interesting. Looks like I can't do that person. All right. And I think that is everybody. Okay, good. All right. So, what you're looking at is something that I use on my phone. And basically, if you have an iPhone, you guys will have something called Pocket Sword. If you guys have an Android phone like me, you're going to have something called My Sword. Now, unfortunately, I'm on the Android side. Sorry, iPhoneers. So today is really just going to be, I guess, the My Sword Day. Whereas the next time, I'm going to make sure it's the Pocket Sword Day. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this. Just taking our time. And for those who do have Pocket Sword, you could think of this as like a warm up. And you guys can pretty much kind of do the same thing. And so basically, this is my sword. You can think of my sword as e-sword. Now you're probably wondering, what is e-sword? For those who do not know, I'm not going to assume anything in here. E-sword is simply a free Bible software. It is a free Bible software that you can use on your PC. And so what I was doing was, years ago, I was wondering, like, man, like, is there any way that I could get e-sword on my phone? And I discovered something called My Sword. And so My Sword is basically a simple Bible software. But as I begin to go ahead and download a few modules and things, certain things I'm going to show you guys here in a second, that I've collected for the past 11 years, I noticed that there was a website. I forget what this website was called, but I'll go ahead and hunt it down and eventually in the lesson here. And this website had special modules. It was a personal website by a developer, and he left all of these personal modules that he had collected. I don't know where he collected them all from, but they were on his website, and they were all for My Sword. And so that's where I got a second stash of amazing tools. Now, the third and final place that I got another set of amazing modules for this My Sword here is a place called BibleSupport.com. BibleSupport.com basically has eSword and My Sword modules that you can go ahead and download and add to your sword. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you guys just like a splash tour of what I have, and I'm gonna show you how I study. Before I do that, I'm gonna give you guys a concept. I gave you guys this concept last week, but because we have new people, I'm gonna go ahead and give it again. Okay, cool. CLUBHOUSE says dope. All right, great, awesome. Think of it like this. Think of your Bible right in front of you. KJV, whatever it is, I don't care. Just visualize a Bible right in front of you. All right. Now, visualize that Bible as a car. Now, of course, a car has what we know as a hood. And of course, people say, well, you should look to see what's under the hood, right? So from the outside, a car looks like a smooth, nice, simple car, right? But when you lift the hood up, you begin to see all the mechanics that make up the car. Just like if we were to go ahead and split open a human body, you would see all the beautiful, maybe somewhat gruesome, inner workings that God had made. You see the heart pumping and all that. You see all kind of stuff happening. And so when it comes to the Bible, you can think of it the same way, right? Of course, there's a KJV or maybe there's an ESV, right? But when you lift up the manuscripts that make up that Bible, then that's when you have the inner workings of your Bible, right? So you can just think of it as right now, you pretty much just kind of see English. But when you lift up the hood, you would see Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic, and all those other languages that we just really don't understand all like that. You know what I mean? Unless you took Greek or Hebrew. Either way, it's no different than opening up the hood of a car and being like amazed, like, wow, there's a lot of stuff that I don't understand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys just some simple ways to pretty much study. But I'm gonna show you guys the tools that eventually that you're gonna have, and you don't have to spend the last 11 years like I did collecting them all. No, I'm just gonna give them all to you guys all at once. So when you have your My Sword, pretty much you click this button here at the top left, and what you have is you have a Bible, you have a commentary, and my favorite part, you have a dictionary, and you have notes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go and give you a splash tour of the things that I have, things that I do to pretty much study, right? I'm gonna start with Bible. And so since I started with Bible, that means that I pretty much have these Bible translations, right? Now, there's all types of them, okay? I'm not going to go through them all, but I'm just going to show you just the ones that, some of the ones that I use, right? There is a Bible translation called an ABP. So that's the top here, ABP. You know, wouldn't it be nice if you pretty much had like a Greek English Bible all the way through, Old Testament to New Testament, right? And at the same time, you could have every single word cited to see what that word means. Well, lo and behold, there's something called the ABP. It's called the Apostolic Polyglot, right? Or the Apostles' Bible. And if I click on it, boom, there it is. So from there, basically, you still see that it has the English there, and it also has, the Greek. But at the same time, it has these numbers because these numbers are basically every Greek word, whether it's Old or New Testament, that's there in the text. And you can think of this as like a Septuagint plus the New Testament. The Septuagint was the Bible written in Greek 250 years before Christ was even here, right? 250 BC. And of course, since the New Testament was also written in Greek, you just basically have one big Greek Bible. That's an ABP, right? So let's just say that all of a sudden I look and it says, "For thus God loved the world." And of course, Hebrew Israelites like to say that the word world means, world of Israel. It means world of this, world of that. Basically, they're trying to limit the word world. And you're trying to figure out, how do I find out what this really means? Because what they do is they just simply do this. G2889. So I'll click on the Greek word world. You'll be able to do this, right? And up comes cosmos. That's the word world. And you can see here it has all types of definitions, right? And of course, the Israelites like to go ahead and just simply pick the one that fits or favors them the most. And this is Thayer's lexicon, right? And so you can see down there where it says of believers only. Now, of course, obviously, this is not as sharp and it's a bit false, but it's just one of the ways that Hebrew Israelites like to go ahead and use certain things. Well, there are different types of lexicons, and the best one that you could use is an unabridged lexicon, right? This one only tells you, just certain words, what they could possibly mean. That's it, right? But it'll barely tell you any verses to go along with it. Well, if you have an unabridged lexicon, it'll show you the Greek word, what it means, and the verse that comes along with it. And so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to go to somewhere else and find out what this word means. And if I go here to my dictionary, I'm going to go to the AMGL, right? Of course, there's Thayer's Unabridged, but I haven't found it for this one yet. But I have found its equivalent, which is an AMGL, right? The Abbott's Manual, I believe, glossary diction or Greek lexicon. So if I click this word here for world, it'll go ahead and give me what it means and all the verses it cited. Now from there, I'm going to go ahead and look for John 3:16 to see if the word world just means only Israel or it means everybody. So let me see if I could go ahead and find it. So we have, let's see. So for this one, it doesn't look like it has it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the other lexicon, the main one, right? This is kind of like a substitute one. The main one is called Thayer's Unabridged Lexicon. And you can actually look at this online, right? Eventually I will get this in the app, but for now I'm going to go ahead online. And we're going to go ahead and look this up. All you have to do is go on a Blue Letter Bible. If you get a Blue Letter Bible, I'm going to type in Thayer's G2889. G2889. And Blue Letter should pop up. So here it is, right? So what happens is, once you go on here, you begin to see something. And I know this is a bit of a detour, and that's okay, but I'm just showing you guys just little things that you can do as a how I study. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Show Greek Inflections. Here it is. Show Thayer's Lexicon. So here it is. Click this. And from there, it gives you the Greek word, what it means, and the verses it cited. And so now I'm going to see what this word means for John 3:16. Is it just talking about Israel, or is it talking about everybody? And as you can see, it is right about, getting close to it. Here it is, right here. So you can see here in definition number 5, it says the inhabitants of the world. And then after that, it says particularly the inhabitants of the earth, men, the human race. So in John 3:16, when it says God so loved the world, he meant the entire human race. And look what's there. John 3:16. And there's other ones. John 6:33, John 6:51, John 8:26, John 12:47, John 13:1, John 14. You pretty much get the point. It shows you all types of scriptures, that bear the meaning of this. And they also cite it to Weiner's grammar. And I'm doing a terrible job at highlighting that, but you pretty much get the point, right?
Not only that, Brother Sorrell, but they're able to actually hear the word to know how to pronounce it.
Oh, that's dope.
So you can see how the word is actually pronounced. And in case like you forget or anything like that. But you can actually hear what the word sounds like, how it's pronunciated, and it's good for you learning as well. So I just wanted to point that out.
Now let's do one more thing before I go ahead and show you guys some other little tools that will help you, right? So once again, we're on the ABP, right? The Apostles Bible. And I'm going to go to show you guys something. Look at Matthew 24. Remember I was telling you guys about, so gotta go. Hop out of here. See y'all next time. All right. Hey, see you later, Arno. It's all good. So let me see. Remember I was telling you guys how when it comes to Bible translations, it's like a car, but then when you lift up the hood, you pretty much see everything. Okay, well, these are one of these moments. So I'm going to go to the KJV Light, and I'm going to go ahead and read verse 3 here. Look at what it says here. It says, "And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world?" Now, obviously, it sounds like Jesus is talking about world, right? The car hood is not lifted up yet. But what's the translation that we could use to lift up the car hood? Exactly. The ABP. So I go up here to the ABP. And now verse 3 is in Greek for us. So now I'm going to read this again. He basically says, sitting down and in his upon the Mount of Olives, there came forward to him the disciples in private, saying, Tell us when these things will be. And what is the sign of your arrival and the completion of the age? Now that's a bit of a different read. Completion of the age. And instead of saying world, it's saying age. Why is that? Well, let's go ahead and click on it here. Look at this. So this Greek word is not cosmos, but it's another word that's translated as world. And it's what? Ion. You ever hear people say, man, it takes you an eon to get stuff done? Okay, well, this word is ion. And it's talking about a length of time, right? A certain time, a certain event, right? A period of time, an age. That's what it means. So was Jesus talking about the end of the world, the end of the planet? Or was he talking about the end of something? The end of a certain age? These are things that you could do to simply find out, okay, what does Jesus mean when he speaks? And so when you end up reading it now you interpret things a bit more sharply. And these are certain tools that you can basically use, right? Now, there are some other ones that I love to use when it comes to translations. There's other translations such as, you know what? I know what to do. There's another one as well. There's one called the KJ3. Why do I love the KJ3 so much? The KJ3 is a type of translation that basically cites. Have you ever ended up seeing how people in the New Testament, they'll go ahead and start citing like Bible passages, or maybe they might allude to one, but it's such an allusion you really can't find it. Well, the KJ3 actually cites those little scriptures right on the end here, so that way you'll know what they're citing. No matter how subtle it is, the KJ3 catches it. So if you're ever reading the book of Hebrews and it looks like he's quoting something, because obviously the book of Hebrews is a place where lots of scripture is quoted, but it's not like he's going to tell you where. Well, when it comes to the KJ3, it actually tells you what he's citing. And so if you're in a conversation with someone, or you're going over a little Bible lesson and your pastor is like reading this stuff and you want to know like, okay, well, who's citing what? The KJ3 is one that helps you, right? Also, there's one more I'll do before I go in and move on to the Bible dictionaries. And let's see. Can we cipher the Septuagint? Let's see. And why Black Hebrew Israelites never cite the Septuagint? The reason why Black Hebrew Israelites never cite the Septuagint is because they have a stigma against the Greek language. Why do they have a stigma against the Greek language? It's mainly because they, sometime in the time of the Maccabees, which was around, I think around 125 BC, they basically got rocked by the Greeks. So they went under a huge Greek captivity. And during that time, it's somewhere in Maccabees. I don't feel like getting it right now. But I'll cite it if you want me to. But somewhere in Maccabees, when they're conquered by the Greeks, there's a law that goes out in all Judea saying that they can no longer identify themselves as Jews. Plus, you had the priests that were taking on Greek names, and they're also taking on Greek culture. And because of that, certain Hebrews thought that they were basically watering down or compromising the religion. And so when the Black Hebrew Israelites read that, they basically interpret that as, the white man trying to water down or take away or dilute, the pure religion of the people. And so if there's any type of Greek anywhere, they don't want nothing to do with it. This is why, they like to stick with Hebrew everything, right? But there's one problem. Anytime you look at the New Testament citing the Old Testament, I don't care if it's Jesus, I don't care if it's Paul, John, James, doesn't matter. Anytime you look, guess what they're citing? The Septuagint. So I always ask the question, well, if Jesus and the apostles never had an issue with, speaking Greek, then why should we? If Jesus and the apostles never had an issue walking around with a Greek Old Testament, figuratively speaking, you know what I'm saying, then why should we have a problem and be prejudiced against this language if this is the Bible that they're quoting from all the time? So that's the reason why. So, but for us Christians, if it wasn't a problem for Jesus and the disciples, it shouldn't be a problem for us. Period.
Surreal, that passage you were looking for is First Maccabees, starting at chapter 1, and it tells the whole story, especially verse 15.
Got it. All right. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 15. I guess, we might as well go there. And so the question is, well, since it's the Septuagint, I would have to go to the LXX, which is the Septuagint, right? This is the Greek version of the Old Testament. The reason why you want this is because the Greek version, it's basically a different version. It is. If you put the Greek version by your KJV Hebrew Masoretic, it's going to read differently, And so this is the reason why people like to read into the Septuagint. They're like, what is this ancient text? So obviously Romans 9 is not in the Old Testament, so we got to go here. Oh, wow. You know what? So this module does not carry the apocryphal books. Oh, looks like I'm going to have to go ahead and fix that. Man, I'll go ahead and leave that alone for right now. All right, now where was I? Oh, yes, the KJ3. Okay, so KJ3. Now, there's another thing you can do as well. I'm going to go ahead to 1 John 3:4, right? Sometimes, there are certain professing Hebrews that will go ahead and they'll go ahead and cite something, and it'll seem like it's legit, right? So in other words, here's one example, right, when it comes to translations. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. So they will ask you, Selah, what is sin? And you would naturally say, sin is a transgression of the law. Oh, so only the Israelites can sin because we were given the law. See, that doesn't make any sense, does it? So, what are we going to do? There's a car. What do we got to do? We have to go ahead and lift under the hood. So, I'm going to go and lift under the hood, and I'm going to see what was the literal words of this here. Now, again, I can use the ABP, right? Oh, wait a second. Looks like someone trying to come in. Oh, cool. Okay. And where's that? Uncle George, check your check your inbox in about 3 seconds. All right, and I want you to click on that link. Can you click on that link once you have it?
All right, it just came through. So let me click it. All right, clicking it now.
Tell me what you see.
Nothing. Yeah, let me click it again. See what's happening. Not doing anything, man.
What you say?
It's not. See, it's a YouTube link. That's weird. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. For some reason, it won't pop up, brother. What was it that you wanted me to see?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, it was actually, the clubhouse. It was a visual. I don't know why it's not working. Yeah, it was actually a clubhouse. It was a visual, but for some reason, I don't know why it's not working. But I guess you just have to follow us on audio. I think you'll like this. So again, in this training, all I'm going to show you guys is basically another way to look at your Bible. Again, so when we lift up the hood, we begin to see all the Greek. So we should look at this and be like, is this what the original Greek says? Is this what John wrote down when he wrote this here? Right? One way that you do that is we can look at the ABP, or we can look at the YLT. The YLT is Young's literal translation. And what it is, it's a literal translation of the Greek. And it reads, everyone who is doing the sin, the lawlessness also he doth do. And the sin is the lawlessness. So sin is not breaking the law, sin is lawlessness. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, Matt, that sounds the same, right? Well, what's one way that we can see if something really does mean what we think it means? We go ahead and look at the Greek word. And so I'm going to go back to the ABP. And this is the reason why people like to stick with the ABP, because it's like the YLT plus everything else you need, right? Everyone committing sin also lawlessness commits, and sin is lawlessness. Now notice that the word transgress isn't even there, which means that's not what John wrote. John did not write what the KJV says. He wrote this. And so is lawlessness the same as breaking the law? Well, let's find out. So you can see right there, it is G458 for lawlessness. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And the word there is anomia, right? And of course, theirs has its regular definition. It It means without law, whether you're ignorant of it, violating it, violation of law. And those last two words are the translations of that word, which is iniquity, wickedness. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, is he talking about the Mosaic law? Well, no, he's actually not. Here, I'll show you. So this is G458. Let's look at the very next word. So I'm going to hit that green arrow to the right there. This is G459. Do you guys see the difference in this word here? In the definition? For one, it's a nomos, but for two, it says that it's destitute of the Mosaic law. John could have used this word to express what sin is, right? But he didn't do it. Look at that. Destitute of the Mosaic law of the Gentiles, departing from the law, violator of the law, lawless, wicked. So you can see that when John wanted to define what sin is, the question is, why didn't he just use this word, since that's, since the KJV renders, it misrenders it as, well, sin is breaking the law. Well, that's because John was not trying to limit sin to simply law breaking, right? The Mosaic law breaking. No. To him, if he would have did that, then he only would have been able to blame Jews for being sinners. But obviously what? John knows, like you and me, that everybody's a sinner, Jew and Gentile. So he had to use a word that could cover all the bases. And what is that word? That word is anomia. It is without law, period. So you can see that this is what John meant when he ended up saying that sin is lawlessness, right? Now, there's something else interesting. The KJV Bible is not the only English translation. Matter of fact, if we go here, there are actually 8 other English translations that came before the KJV. I wonder what they said it was. So let's go ahead and just take a look, right? Because obviously, the KJV was not the only English gunslinger back then, right? There were translations before the KJV that were in English. One of them is Coverdale. So we're going to click Coverdale. Let's see what he says. Whosoever committeth sin committeth unrighteousness also, and sin is unrighteousness. Interesting. All right, how about another one? How about Wycliffe? And we'll go to Wycliffe Modern, right? So it could be easier. Wycliffe, he's another early English translation, pre-KJV. Each man that doth sin doth also wickedness, and sin is wickedness. Now, it's pretty obvious that everybody's wicked, right? So these are certain ways you can go ahead and, see if a certain translation is sharp or correct, right? So because of this makes everybody sinners, right? Not just the Israelites. Or sin isn't just breaking the law, right? Sin is immorality, period. Wickedness, period. Now, there's a deeper study on this, but, just for, training's sake, I'm just showing you simple ways and simple things that you can do to, once again, look under the hood, see what the Greek says, right? Look under the hood, see what other early English translations say, right? Look under the hood and see what those Greek words that are behind it say, Not only that, but, of course, we'd like to see if there's any citations. Look at that. Lawlessness. iniquity. So we can see that this word lawlessness is no different than saying wickedness, right? Or iniquity, which I believe means to twist. So this word lawlessness here is associated not with some type of law code breaking, but it's associated with immorality, which is the reason why you have other translations like wickedness, unrighteousness. Even Martin Luther's English German translation says all wrongdoing is sin, right? So, you know what? Before I continue, does anyone have any type of questions, anything open ended? Did any Bible verses pop out to you and be like, "Ooh, can you check this verse? Ooh, can you check this chapter? What do you think about this word here? What does this word mean here? What does this word mean there?" If there's anything popping in your head right now, a Bible story, anything, a concept, definitely, this is your time to go ahead and speak. Other than that, I'm going to continue with just another tour of this Mysore here. It looks like, okay, we got Nate.
Well, I think this is very important because we can, like we see with the Greek, we'll see two different Greek words show up the same in the English. The very same thing happens in the Hebrew as well. For instance, Isaiah 28 precept, which is the Sav, and you would think that means precept of command, but it's not. It really means mocking.
Can you say that again?
Isaiah chapter 28. That word is sav. And Isaiah chapter 28, verse 10. So, this is it'll show the same in the English, but when you go in the Hebrew itself, I'll play it right here.
Strong's Age 6673. Sav. Second entry. Sav.
So it's either pronounced Sav or Sav. And when you look at that definition, that particular definition, it says right here, it lets you know right off the back, I'm in blue letter body, but I can also get logos. It will say for entry one, command, ordinance, oracle, meaning dubious. So people will take that and say, oh, see, that means God's command. But what they have done here, which was so wonderful, they let you know in the context of this particular verse or passage, it's using and mocking or mimicking of Isaiah's words, thus not a true divine command. But if we're looking for that word actual command, that word would be pakud or pakud or something like that. And that shows up, I want to say Psalms 118, verse 20. And you can see the difference of the actual definition, even though it shows up in the English. What a lot of people don't understand is that the English is trying to translate or sound it out for you to be able to say the actual word, but it does not affect the definitions itself. So the same thing happens also in the Hebrew, just like it does in the Greek.
Awesome. Okay. For anyone that had a hard time following Mama Cherry, I'm going to go ahead and kind of, translate, pun intended, what she said, okay? And before I do that, right? I know. Hey, you know what, Mama Cherry? Maybe at the end of this, you can tell them, your story, how you started out just like them. You were confused, maybe a little intimidated, like, man, this is a lot, but I get it. It's kind of neat, but I'll never be this. I'll never get as far as you got. And next thing you know, look at her now. So maybe she'll share that encouraging story with you guys in a little later in a little bit. But for Nate, he wanted to know, what is this, Nate? If you click that, you should be able to see a visual of everything that we're talking about. And if you, oh yeah, and what's up, by the way? What's up, Big Nate? You know, um, also, hey, what's good? So, are you able to see everything that's on the screen? Are you able to see anything?
I see like everybody's profiles. I don't know how this app works.
Okay, good. So all right, good, good. Um, so far, do you see any scriptures on the screen?
No. I see training for Christians only on Hebrew Israelites Rec.
Oh
and
man.
as the title.
Hold
You gotta
on.
click the link. You gotta give them the link.
Yeah.
Oh, that link. Okay.
Oh no, I definitely did. Hold on. Heck, I think
Clubhouse link.
I think I know what happened. No, it's okay. I think I know what happened. So I have to share. I thought I shared the entire screen. So let's go back and let's get this right. Okay, so everything seems to be, you know. Oh well, look at this. Hey, I got some people here. Lady B, Kevin Jackson, Prince Remiel. He says this is dope. CLUBHOUSE, she says this is neat. Kevin Jackson says this is too dope. Um, man, I thought I was here. Let me see if. All right, let's. Okay, yeah, so it is working. All right, so he should be able to see the entire screen. Okay. All right, I just had to make sure. So, I'm sorry about this, y'all. I'm just Oh, can you do a comparison of the Lex and the NT in the future? Yes, I definitely can. That comes from KB Dead. I can definitely do that. Definitely do that. Basically, he wants a comparison of the Greek Old Testament with the Hebrew Old Testament. And like I said, guys, a lot of times they're like night and day. You know, the Greek Old Testament was translated by 72 Jewish priests in about 250 BC. They translated it from a Hebrew that we no longer have. The manuscript is gone. We don't know where it is, into the Greek. So whatever that Greek Testament is, it is the only heir of a Hebrew Old Testament manuscript that we just don't have. You know, the only other ones that are out there is obviously the Dead Sea Scrolls, but the Dead Sea Scrolls is a mix because there's stuff that's written in Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. And the only other one that's lying around is a manuscript that basically existed only after all the apostles died. And that is the Masoretic, the Hebrew Masoretic. They believe it came from anywhere from the 5th to the 9th century AD. So this is the reason why you will never find Paul quoting, the KJV. Their Bible was the Septuagint. That was the Bible of their day. Why? Because, their Greek was our English. Everyone knows how to speak English these days. Okay, well that's what it was in Greek.
Excuse me, I have a question.
Sure. Yeah.
So, what would you guys say is like the most accurate translation in English for the Bible?
That's a good one. You know what? It's always tricky because whichever one you get, it's always lacking something else. Because the Bible is, 3-dimensional, that means that, there's more than one way for it to be talking to you. And the problem with translations is that translations, they're one-dimensional, they're either they're dynamic, which means they just try to tell you what the meaning of what it's trying to say, or B, they're just literal. They'll just basically just cite the Greek. Well, just this is a Greek word, this is a Greek word, this is what it is, word for word. But it's not going to tell you what it means. It's like the dynamic. And so until the translations become a bit more three-dimensional, no matter what translation you get, it'll cover one base, but it won't cover the other, which is the reason why there's so many translations out there. You know, so there is no best one. If there was a best one, it would be the ESV because it quotes from the oldest manuscripts, including the Dead Sea Scrolls. So people like that. You know I do.
So I have a question because Muslims and Hebrew Israelites always ask me like, your Bible's so corrupted or it's like changed. Usually Muslims ask me this, but like Hebrew Israelites will ask me this when I use like more modern translations.
Yeah.
So like, how do I defend that against like Islam and Hebrew Israelites?
Well, there's one thing you can always do. Now this gets back to our toolbox, right? One thing you could do is sometimes you could really ask them like, okay, well, what's something that you think is corrupted? What's one that you think is corrupted, right? And they might pick a Bible verse or something. Well, with this right here, hopefully you can see this. Now you can have this online, but once again, this is your app. This is your tools. I'm going to go ahead and pick something called. Just give me a second. Oh, it's in the commentary, right? Basically, a commentary is just something that tells you what a verse, chapter, or book means. So I'm going to go ahead and click on, where is it? I'm going to click on the ANF, all right? That is the Ante-Nicene Fathers. Basically, this app pulls up any New Testament quote, any New Testament passage that happens to be quoted by the Church Fathers. It'll show it, including the ones that they claim is like corrupted, right? So I'm going to click on the ANF. We're going to get out of the Old Testament into the New, and we're going to go back to Isaiah 28 to break down what Sherry had shared, because I don't want to miss that either. But let's just say, I don't know, we could do, how about Acts chapter 2, verse 38. How about that? So you'll notice that Cyprian, right? So this is around 250 AD. Cyprian cites Acts chapter 2, verse 38. For this promise is unto you and to your children and to all that are far off, even as many as the Lord our God shall call. Now, why is this helpful? Because if there is a Hebrew Israelite out there that says, this text is corrupted, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, these three are one, that was a later addition. That's not a real translation, and that's fake. Or maybe they might say, well, Jesus, when he made all foods clean, somebody added that. That's not there. That's fake. Well, what you do is you ask yourself, did any church fathers end up citing this same verse? And if they did, then the argument is over. At least for that verse, right? Or maybe at least for that gospel, at least for that epistle. Here, let me give you one example. So how about we go to Mark 7:19. Remember the famous one that people, or basically the Hebrews like to say, well, Jesus does, it does say in Mark that he declared all foods clean. And therefore it makes it seem like that you Christians can eat whatever you want. But the problem is that is a later translation. That came later in the manuscripts. That wasn't in any early manuscripts. Somebody added that in. Once again, let's just see if there's any church fathers that cite it. Now look at this, wherein it absolutely proved that they are all ignorant of what is true circumcision and what is true Sabbath, and their ever increasing blindness is confuted with this present epistle, wherein I have briefly discoursed concerning their meats, because that in them they consider that they only are holy, and that all others are defiled. And look, there's other ones too. It says, God is not worshipped by the belly or by meats, which the Lord says will perish and are purged by natural law in the drought. And look at this. This is Origen. He died in 254 AD. This is what he says. And especially when, according to Mark, the Savior said these things, making all meats clean. Now, there's dates way before any of the quote unquote earliest manuscripts that this was added in. And so the question is, if Origen, a church father, is saying that this is what Mark says, then obviously there was some manuscript around popular enough where everyone was teaching this, which is the reason why it sounds so similar to Novation and other people. And I've done dates for Novation and others that I've dug up on places, and it's early as 160 AD. So that goes to show. Mark 7:19 actually says making all foods clean. Well, according to according to the church fathers, Jesus said this. He actually did say this. So this is a way that you can go ahead and truly see how authentic a text is. You know, if you can't find in the early manuscripts and nothing like that, find in the church fathers. You know what I mean? So I hope.
May I add this, Brother Surreal?
Sure. And after that, we're gonna go right to Isaiah 28.
Yes, sir. But not only that, Surreal brings up an awesome point with the church fathers. Notice that Hebrew Israelites do not appeal to the church fathers, especially the early ones, such as Irenaeus, Papias, Polycarp, Saint Ignatius, and so on. These early five, or probably a few more, like Clement of Rome, who is found in Philippians 4:3. These earlier church fathers studied directly under the Apostle John, Peter, Paul, and etc. So when you appeal to them, like Brother Cyril says, it's game over. His conversation is done. They stay away from church history for two things. Number one, it disproves them, and number two, it kills their entire doctrine and their narrative. So when you see this, just like the example Brother Cyril just gave, that this was quoted earlier by them who were discipled under the apostles, and the apostles are what? Apostles of Jesus Christ. Who walked, a lot of them walked with, well, some of them walked with Jesus, especially the ones that did. There's no argument. Exactly. And so you'll find that the conversation is done. So yeah, that's a very good method.
Exactly.
Just wanted to throw that.
Thank you, Mama Cherry. Thank you, Mama Cherry. Thank you. And you know what? Until you guys actually do get this tool, you can have it online. You know, just type in ANF Church Fathers, and it'll pop up on CCEL. But there's another one that you can go to, right? There's always multiple sources. This one is a bit chunky. I'm not gonna lie. This one's a bit chunky, but it's worth it. Okay. All you do is you go to CatholicCrossReference.com. Whoever made this website went into great detail to see what the church fathers cited. Now, the ANF, it just focuses on the New Testament. The Catholic Cross Reference, it focuses on the Old and New Testament, basically the entire Bible, in great exhaustive detail. In other words, when you see this, you're going to be doing a bit of reading. Right? So if I were to go ahead and, just type in Mark 7:19, so I'll type it in here. And from there, it should pop up. Here it is. Fathers of the 3rd century, Novation, on the Jewish meats and all this other stuff. And from there, it'll have some things to read. And as you can see, it's a bit bulky, just like I said. Here's another one. And another one. Recently discovered additions to early Christian literature. Commentaries of Origen, the Diatessaron of Tatian, the Diatessaron. One thing you could always do to help out or help yourself is just go to Find in Page and just type in clean, right? You can do that. So that way, it's got all the words there when they end up using it. See that? Declaring all foods clean in case you want to copy anything. See that? You get to make it easy for yourself. You might want to type in something else. So this is another tool that you can use. I wish it would turn into an app, but they haven't. So till then, I have to go ahead and, kind of use this here. So with that being said, let's go back to Isaiah 28. And once again, that church fathers thing is for when people end up asking you about the authenticity of what you're reading, right? Well, how do we know it really said that? How do we know? Well, I don't know. How do we know? Okay, so what did the early voices of the church say? What did the church fathers say? Right? We don't have that manuscript. It doesn't exist. Well, it existed for Cyprian. So, they must have had something. So it's just as authentic, right? So I'm going to go ahead to Isaiah 28. And we're going to see what Mama Cherry was talking about, right? This may sound very familiar to all of you. Let's see. But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Now, notice that when it comes to the Hebrew Israelites, they don't read any further than that. They pretty much read this and they try to say this is a standard way that you end up interpreting the Bible. You do it line upon line. Give me that precept. But one, they don't quote this next part, which is the verse itself, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken. See, that's the part that they don't quote to you. You have to ask yourself, why would God give a method of, accurate translation or accurate interpretation just for you to fall backward and be broken and snared and taken? Maybe it's because this ain't about, maybe it's because this ain't about truth interpretation. Maybe it's because it's about something else entirely. Which means the words within this passage are about something else entirely too. And so the word that Mama Cherry had pointed to, I believe, was precept. Am I right? Am I right, Mama?
Yes, the word precept, which shows up, the word precept shows up precept in English.
Got it. So all right, y'all. Exactly. So, y'all, what do we got to do? What do we got to do to the car?
Lift the hood.
We got to lift up the hood, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and lift up the hood. See, y'all getting y'all study on right now. So the word precept is all around this verse. The word line is all around this verse. The word little is all around this verse. So we're going to find out what this means, right? They like to make it sound like it's some kind of command or something. So we're going to go to our ABP, right? And I know what you're thinking. Well, this is a Greek. We need the Hebrew, right? It's the same difference. But because of that, I admit I'll go to the Hebrew for now. It's okay, y'all. It's all good. Let's go to the Hebrew, and then we'll go to the Greek. All right, so we're gonna go to. I'm gonna type KJV, and from there we're gonna look up the word precept there, right? This word precept, H6673. What's it say? It's a psalm. Now it does say like a command, ordinance, oracle, but then below it has another way it's being used. It says used in mocking mimicry of Isaiah's words and thus not a true divine command. Well, that's interesting. And this is the Brown Javern Briggs Hebrew definition. But once again, we want to be exhaustive. And so remember I was telling you about unabridged lexicons? Well, here it is. The unabridged Brown Javern Briggs, where it gives you the Hebrew word, what it means, and the verse it cites it. So let's see if we can find Isaiah 28 around here. And look at that. There it is. So according to this, it means elsewhere only in mocking mimicry of Isaiah's words, and verse 13 of the unintelligible speech of foreign agents of judgment and others render command upon command and things like that. But of course, it's to explain as mocking sounds without sense. So whatever this word means, well, according to the UBDB, it's really talking about unintelligible speech, mocking. Now, I don't think this is a methodology that God would give the Israelites to properly interpret Scripture, right? Now, there's one more lexicon that you could use. So that's 2 for the Hebrew, 2 for the Greek, right? So this is a second one you could use for the Hebrew. And it is one that I recently downloaded. I've been looking for it for a long time. And it is called Gesenius. SC Gesenius. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And this guy here, he says, a precept. From the roots, he follows the precept, unless indeed we should read hence Isaiah 28:10. There it is, Isaiah. It seems like Isaiah 28. It says precept upon precept. Precept is added to precept, law to law, by the priests and prophets. We are daily wearied with new laws. The paranomisia is limited by Jerome. And Jerome puts it in the, I guess that's Latin. Of course, Genesius, I guess this one did not help out all that much, but nevertheless, it's still a formidable lexicon. It's a little aged, 1854 or something like that. But nevertheless, it still helps whenever it can, right? Obviously, the UBDB is the superior one, but you can still have that one there. So, what was Mama Cherry trying to show you? All she was trying to show you is that when anyone comes with any kind of scriptures before you, and it seems like it's something that's very formidable, this is a way that you find out whether or not what they're saying is actually legit. Especially if you find something within the verse itself that goes against their argument. And so that's what Mama Cherry is trying to show you guys, right? So these will be ways that you'll be able to go ahead and study, once you have this app. See? Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah, if you show them Psalms 119:45, and it says, "And I shall walk in a wide place, for I have sought your precept." That's Psalms 119, verse 45. And watch this.
Okay, so you're saying that basically I found, the same word in English, but
in the English, well, listen to this.
okay.
Psalm 64:9. Picodeme. Picodeme.
That's the word precept in the English from the Hebrew. So it's showing it's two different words in the Hebrew, but coming up the same in the English. They're not the same. They're different.
So in verse 4 it says, "Thou hast commanded us to keep thy precepts diligently." And so you're saying that basically this word precept does not have the same meaning as the precept in Isaiah 28.
Correct.
All right, so what do we got to do? We're going to look under the hood. Oh, who said what?
Oh, that's Brother Eric. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. All good. And so we're going to go to look under the hood again. And we're going to go to the KJV to go and get the Hebrew word.
And the word should be picodeme. Picodeme.
All right. So here it is. Precept, statute. That's it. Nothing about mocking, nothing about that. Nope, nothing at all. We can look at the UBDB, and it basically says, properly thing appointed, charge. In Psalms, only a plural construct. So you can see, yes, this is a proper precept, So yeah, this is no different than what we saw in Matthew 24, verse 3. Remember? Where it said, well, Lord, what is the sign of your coming? And tell us when will the end of the world happen? And what did we find out? Oh, world. It must mean cosmos, like John 3:16. What did we find out? Nope. It is the word ion. So you can see that just like in the Greek, one English word has many, many Greek words, and one English word has many Hebrew words. So that's one way you can always look at it. So again, when you see a word, just because it keeps on popping up over and over doesn't mean it's one-dimensional, right? There are about 3 or more Greek words for world. There are a few Hebrew words for precept. So anytime you see the same word, it doesn't mean like, oh, I know what it means. No. You might want to go check it. It might be a different Hebrew word, still translated the same in English. That's all. So you always want to remember, you always want to lift under the hood. Look under the hood, right? So is this helping anybody? I definitely hope it is. So I think the last thing I'll do. Oh, hold on just a second. Looks like I got somebody. Okay, Stephanie Gentry. And we got some extra people. Dang, I got to give out this link more. Okay. What's going on, Steph?
This is helping Brother Surreal for the simple fact not only that they need to look at the word, but also how is it being used in context. And we can see the lack of context being used by the other side. They're not using it at all. So this is where we get a lot of confusion in, and also not looking into these words, defining these words, to know what these words, how they're being used, what they actually mean. When notice like when you see scholars like Dr. Brown, Michael Brown, or James White, and so on and so on, and they always appeal to what's that word? I just had it. The context, basically. Context kills false doctrine. How that word is being used in that particular format will actually give you the information. The Bible is able to interpret itself. Exactly. Just translate and to sound it out where we can read it and understand it. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Got it. Yeah, I mean that's definitely a great point. Um, so hopefully the people who just came in, um, please go ahead and check your inboxes. You guys have a link. It is a visual to follow along everything that we're doing. And by the way, welcome, welcome. I'm so real, Matthew Solly. Basically, we gave a whole bunch of intros, and you can just go ahead and look at the video when the live is over. For those, unfortunately, we did not end up recording session one. All right, I know that a lot of new faces for session two. You know, um, so basically, what I'm going to do now is the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you just a bit more tools that you can use here, and we're going to go ahead and just walk you through on how you can go ahead and get this. So I'm going to go to one of my Bible dictionaries, and basically there's another tool that I love to use. One day we'll exhaustively go through all of these, but for right now, my purpose is just simply, just tread lightly. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the VGNT. This here is a Bible dictionary, and the VGNT is the vocabulary of the Greek New Testament. Basically, what this is, sometime I think in the 1890s or the 1930s, there were these guys that came across all these manuscripts of just ancient texts, but there were things like tax receipts, marriage certificates, and the like. Just a whole bunch of regular, everyday type of writing stuff. But the thing is, there were so many of them that somebody actually coined the idea. Somebody actually thought, you know what? What if we could go ahead and look at how everyone is using these everyday words, and maybe we can make a dictionary out of it? And so that's what they did. And they called it the vocabulary of the Greek New Testament. In other words, we're looking at how ordinary people use the same words outside the Bible, right? So you see all these Greek words that are inside the Bible, but how do everyday people use these words? Well, this one gives you a little insight. So if I were to go ahead and click on, I don't know, oh, look at that. I clicked on that by accident. G5368. It says love. And it has quotes from all kinds of people. Since you know how I esteem and I love you. And there's other ones. The verb is followed by an infinitive in Matthew 6:5 with a closing greeting. So there's a closing greeting as well. It is possible, however, that the following Wilkins suggestion, we should in both these passages read, keeping with the form the greeting takes elsewhere. So you can see it's just a really neat way to see, with certain words, how they were used by other people, are to be distinguished in the New Testament. The former is probably the love of friendship, the latter, reverential love. But there appears to be a growing tendency to regard the two verbs as synonymous. So I just thought it was pretty cool, to have this ancient tool. He knows no instance of its use earlier than about AD 100. All right. So how do you end up getting these tools? Well, first off, I'll show you the first way. There are three ways. Way number one. Now, of course, I'm going to go ahead and eventually give you guys a link, and I'll walk you through how to go ahead and just have this link and download the file. And once you download the file, you'll simply have what I have without having to do all the long version like I'm about to show you now. Once you download this, you can download this from the Amazon App Store. It's called MySword. You can download it also from, a MySword website. And from there, you'll click on the key link button there. It looks like a key link. And from there, you'll click on download modules. And after that, you pretty much have Bible, commentary, dictionary, language, book. Basically, I just stick with the Bible, commentary, and dictionary. All right. So I go ahead and click on Bible. I click on English, and I'm able to check whichever ones that I want to download. Right. So you'll check any of those. These are some pretty good stuff, you know. Check whichever ones you want. And also you can go back to it and you can click on interlinear. Interlinear is, you know, looking under the hood. Remember? You saw like, you know, a nice word, then you seen a bunch of numbers. Okay, this is the under the hood translations. You can think of them like that. Look at that. Apostolic Polyglot, ABP, right? Remember that? So there's a whole bunch of them where you can check under the hood. Also, there is, of course, Greek, you know, in case you want those. Hebrew, in case you want those. Greek, Hebrew, English, interlinear. Those are what you want to check out. And it's the same thing for commentary, you know. English, and these are commentaries. These are insightful notes on what verses mean, what chapters mean, or what whole books mean, just in case if, you know, something may confuse you, you know. That's my boy, Divine. Thank you, bro. Um, and so, yeah, you can definitely check these out. Now, I could give a little breakdown on each one of these, but this is just an overview for right now. All right? You know, you probably wonder, well, Matt, which ones do you use? All the ones in the green? Darn right I do. All right? And I'll give as the reasons why next time, okay? Same thing with dictionary. What do certain words mean, right? The best dictionaries, once again, are the unabridged dictionaries. Now, a lot of times they're not going to say unabridged, but I can point them out for you, like the AMGL. That's an unabridged dictionary, you know. Easton is a good one. Fawcett's another good one. Of course, Jessenius, you know, that's another unabridged one. What else? LSJU is another unabridged one. I thought it was around there somewhere. So these are Bible dictionaries that you can go ahead and download. And finally, the other place that you can go ahead and definitely download some very interesting stuff is a website called BibleSupport.com. Once again, this is for your MySword or your eSword. And in our case, for our phones, this is for MySword. Obviously, I have an account. There it is right there. It is absolutely free, but it is the only way that you can download anything. So go ahead and sign up, absolutely free. And from there, you'll be able to go to download anything, right? You'll come over here to the left, and you simply just go down to MySword. And you'll be amazed at what they have. New MySword modules. I go ahead and click this. View more. And these are the recent ones here. But I'm going to go ahead and click MySword here. All right, now it's being difficult with me because usually I'm able to, okay, hold on. Now it's being difficult with me. Fine. MySword downloads. Finally. Okay, MySword downloads. Nope. Looks like I gotta widen it. MySword downloads. Okay, this is it. So it's the same up here. Bibles, commentaries, of course there's devotionals, but there's dictionaries, and there's library references, right? There's all types of stuff. But right now, you would just click on one of these. So, we could go to dictionaries. And from there, you get a most recent. So that way you can follow along from what's most recent to what's the older stuff. And these are wonderful Bible dictionaries. Obviously, there's a whole lot more. This is where the big stash of this stuff comes from. If you want to know what anything means, you just simply go ahead and click on it. So I see update to Dictionary of the Gods and Goddesses. So I will click on that. And it'll go ahead and give you a download. It'll give you, what it means and things like that. And from there, I simply download it. Of course, I'll hit I agree. And I hit agree and download. And from there, I go ahead and I download the file. Yep, I save it. All right, and I click open. Let's see what happens. Oh boy, that is the wrong type of thing to open it up to. All right, so it looks like I'm gonna go and do this the old-fashioned style. So I'm going to show you how to go ahead and install one module. And once you know how to install one module, you'll pretty much just go ahead and do it to all of them. Give me a moment. So what you do is you simply look for your downloads. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my downloads. And there it is, Dictionary of the Gods and Goddesses reference. So I'm going to highlight it. And from there, okay. Well, how about this? Okay, got it. So I'm going to hit copy to, or actually move to. And from there, this is a part where it gets tricky because now you have to go ahead and find where your MySword is. Now, luckily for me, I know where mine is. So I'm going to go right to it. It is in Android data. And what you got to do is you have to look for something called Riversoft. Riversoft. Just give me a second. Yeah, sometimes this takes a little time, which is the reason why I know everyone just wants my link, so that way you guys can skip all this. But I'm just showing you anyway, just in case you might want to download something on your own. There it is, Riversoft. So I'll click on Riversoft. Now, because this is a Bible dictionary, we're going to go to Files. We have Bible, books, commentaries, dictionaries. There it is. And we're going to hit move, right? Because we already clicked on dictionary, so we're going to hit move. All right, so it's there. So now all I have to do is simply go to my sword here. Nope, that's okay. Hit close. Let's get out of here. And now we are in dictionary. So now I'm going to look for the dictionary of the gods and goddesses thing. Now you'll have to learn how to read some um, what's the word I'm looking for? um, acronyms. That's right. You have to learn some acronyms very well. Okay. So I'm going to see if it's in here. If it's not, I'm going to go ahead and close it down and open it back up. And I think I might have to close it down and open it back up. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and close this down. And let's open it back up. Just a second. Okay, turn that alarm off. All right, so let's go back to our Bible dictionary and see if we can find it. Wow, NT Greek. JBJ Jackson. Okay, maybe it says index false or something like that. Let's check it out. There it is. Look, index false gods. Of course, that's a very brief description. But if you want to know exactly what module you're looking at, all you have to do is come down here, and you see that I in the bottom right. You click that I in the bottom right, and you hit About Module. And what is it? Gods and Goddesses Reference, and it'll tell you a little description of it. You know, Gods and Goddesses Reference Index, and from there, this is what we have. So if you see any kind of interesting gods that are in the Old Testament, New Testament, whatever, now all of a sudden you have them all here. Anyone from Gad to Gabriel, right? Galatia, let's just randomly click on Galatia. One of the Nereides Greek. It's a very short one. Let's try one more, see if they give a bit more detail. Glycon, or gnomes. Demonic beings who inhabit woods, mountains, and water, pan-European. So once again, that's how you pretty much download any type of Bible dictionary, commentary, or Bible. You go on to BibleSupport.com, and next thing you know, you slowly begin to add on as many things that may help you. Like, for example, Girdlestone. What is this? This is a synonym type of dictionary. Old Testament synonyms. In other words, it basically just takes definitions and it links it to very similar words that have a similar meaning. So if you type in the word sin, you might run into other words that it might break down for you that are directly related to that word sin. And so instead of learning one dictionary word, you can learn a whole relative family of words. So that's the power of Girdlestone's, synonym dictionary. Instead of learning one word, they'll teach you all the other words that are also similar to it, right? So you could be a bit detailed and exhaustive if you want to, in just the whole genre of whatever word you're looking for. Now, with that being said, I showed you where to go ahead and download, certain things for the My Sword module. The only place I didn't show you was the other website, But I wanted to cut that short because, hey, I want to save something next time, and I don't want to overload y'all. So I basically showed you guys how to A, look under the hood, right? Using other translations, right? Showed you how to go ahead and look at certain words, what they mean with the Bible dictionary, you know. Oh, that's my notes, right? And also, I showed you guys how to go ahead and download your own modules using the app itself or using Bible support. And trust me, there's a lot to read. You know, you just don't download a naked app. It'll tell you, or a module. It'll tell you about the module. You know. So I'm gonna go back on the Clubhouse, and that pretty much ends it for the day. And we're just gonna have an open session if anyone is able to stay around. But yeah, so that kind of concludes the training a little bit. And if anybody has any kind of questions at all, any whatsoever, definitely feel free to ask, But I hope that definitely gave you guys some good insight. All right, definitely, bro. Definitely, Aaron. We gonna definitely connect, bro. That was just the tip of the iceberg, So, does anybody have any type of questions or, anything at all? If not, it's okay. I just want to know. And by the way, this was not everything. This was not all the tools. We still have a lot to work through. Going once, going twice. All right. I take it everybody is just, I guess you guys are really getting your study on, I guess. Other than that, oh, wait a minute. Okay. Somebody wants to speak.
Shalom, can I be heard?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, I wanted to speak while you were dialoguing there, but I'm at work right now, so I look forward to the next one. If I'm able to chime in on the next one, I'll just do so. But yeah, I got a lot of questions related to these, comparative studies between the different manuscripts and whatnot before, I guess, going any further. I just start right there. But
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you on some of the scriptures when comparing the Masoretic to the Septuagint, such as I can't think of it right now. It's like Acts 14 or 15 with Amos 9, where it talks about the tabernacle of David. That definitely lines up more with the Septuagint in comparison to the Masoretic. The Septuagint doesn't mention anything about Edom at all. So just the New Testament doesn't mention anything about Edom as well. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. On some references, the Septuagint is a match. But as far as like these study tools you are telling us about, I'm not in a position to really look at it from the house, on my computer or just follow along because I'm working right now. But definitely look forward to the next one.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm just glad that it gave you some insight. You know what I mean? Because whether you look at the Samaritan Pentateuch, the Dead Sea Scrolls, these are all ancient texts in their own right. And obviously, they're saying something about the word, and it's always worth a look. And just to see wherever that leads, I especially love Acts 15. There's lots of ways that I look at just how James interprets that and what that meant for Jesus and all this other stuff, But yeah, I know definitely y'all got some questions. Mary J. Wade says, excellent info, lots of info. I plan to use the apps. Thank you. Hey, thank you for taking the training, I definitely know that these first two trainings are just an overview, right? Maybe the next one we'll get straight up in depth, which will be very, very slow. It's not going to be a little bit of everything. No, it's going to be more like, no, we're only going to focus on just this. All right. Anybody else? Anyone else have any kind of questions? Anything to add? I know I didn't go over the iPhone version because I don't have an iPhone, but my wife does, and so now I have to sweet talk her for next time, and hopefully she'll allow me to use that for the next class. All right. We have, who else wants to speak? What's going on, Indian? What's going on, bro? Hey, speak to us, bro. Is your mic on? I don't know what's up with his mic. You might want to fix that. All right. Anybody else have any questions or? Papa Sean.
Hey, God bless you. I'm in church still. We finished up. You saw last one, the song.
The last one, huh?
Last song.
Oh, last song.
So y'all come on, praise the Lord for a few minutes.
Well, we'll definitely give you some hand claps. Yep.
Clap your hands. Your feet. Make the music with your body.
All right, thank you, Papa Sean. All right, man. All right, Mary J. Wade says, iPhone Nation. Yeah, whatever. Oh, y'all. That's all right. Shoot. Yeah, definitely next time we will be going over Pocket Sword. You know, it may not be as heavy and detailed as my sword, but it's the best that we have. It's still very formidable, though. Anybody else want to say anything before we wrap it up and call it a night? Anybody? Anything? Going once, going twice. All right, Robert Jackson. Let's see. Should pop up.
All right, how's it going?
Hey, peace, man. How's it going, man?
Shalom, my brother. My own perspective, I joined the conversation with them, unfortunately. But I come from the perspective that we really must understand that words mean things. Okay? So when we start to look at the text, and we must understand that even at the time that it was written, we as a people function on idioms. You know, you and I have a conversation. We'll say, man, you know, we down like 4 flat tires, right?
Yeah.
And someone from outside of our culture would not understand what that means. So
Right.
when we look through the text, we constantly see idioms that are there that are more, and when you look at Yahusha, he spoke in parables. Because the people at that time, and we now, really understand what the idioms are that we can apply them to our daily lives. So looking at the text and understanding the people of the text, and we understand the culture that they were in at that time in order to get a true interpretation. Again, I joined the conversation late, so I'm not really sure what the conversation was, but I do understand that at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, we have to look at the text in its context and then translate that context to our time today.
Excellent. I definitely do agree. Idioms, Hebrew idioms, y'all, are very real in the ancient Near East, just in the Bible in general. You know, and we could kind of segue that into when we were talking about with our Bible dictionaries module. Basically, we were going over all types of tools that, you know, the people here will be able to use. I showed them where to go to get the tools, and I am working on my shortcut, you know, the Google Drive shortcut, because I know people just want the file. You know, they're like, shut up, Matt. Just give me the file so I can have what you have. But I also have to teach people how to fish too. But yeah, we went through plenty of Bible dictionaries, and they basically showed, the meaning of words, the context of words, the unabridged Bible dictionaries that showed the Greek or Hebrew word, its meaning, and the verses it cited. But we didn't get into the other Bible dictionaries that hint on hyperbole, idiom, metaphor. There are all types of, apocalyptic literature. There are other ways to, definitely study the text besides what we ended up looking at training number 2. And so, we're just working things one layer at a time, just showing them how to do some simple navigations on, how to hunt a word down, where to hunt it down, what tool to use, and then after that, from there, we'll begin to get on, eventually we'll be getting to get on other things like, well, we'll look at Isaiah, apocalyptic language, hyperboles, and, idioms and metaphors and all the rest of those things, and ways to hunt those down. But, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you're definitely a Easter egg for like the near future,
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And my other aspect on this is the sooner that we involve children in the interpretation and understanding of the text for their overall life is really, really good for them. Because my biggest thing as a kid when I was coming up was I had a better comprehension than other children did. And the only reason that was is because my grandfather exposed us to the Bible every day. Every day you read. And in the reading of the Bible, I was able to get an understanding of words, a better comprehension of words, and therefore translated that into A's and B's in regular school. So the sooner we get our children, while we have this conversation about the word and about the Bible and the interpretation and understanding, really your children, this is the conversation that you should be sitting in on, and they should be asking you questions or explaining that to them along the way. Because we have to understand that in order to really make a change, the word says that the iniquities are visited upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. So we're still answering for the sins of our fathers before us. So in order for us to really get a clarity in the next couple of generations, we got to start exposing them as little ones, really 3-4 years old. When they start to learn how to read, when they start to learn how to understand, we should be exposing them to that text then. And then as they come up, they're going to bring that next generation, and the generation to follow will come to bear with strength and force and understanding of the text. I'm going to be quiet now. I'll just go over here.
Amen. I definitely agree. I definitely agree. And I know that just someone who had worked in the school for nearly 10 years before they silently laid me off because they lost funding, I could definitely say that, when it does come to kids, one of the funnest things that we did was we turned all of our learning into games or little concepts like I did today with looking under the hood. We end up comparing looking under the hood to looking under the Greek and Hebrew texts of all the translations. And it's little things like that, little concepts that carry people a long way. And, we're in a day and age where the kids and the adults need it, and it's like, wherever one that you're called to start, you start there, you know what I mean? And we meet each other in the middle. Right now there are lots of adults here, and eventually, maybe they will end up having their kids listen in, and if that's the case, I'll try to be a bit more fun with my visuals, which I have been before, if you look on my channel. But yeah, that is a beautiful insight. I definitely agree. But with that being said, we're pretty much just gonna wrap it up for the night. If you guys want to go ahead and review everything here, I hope it was easy follow through on. I hope it was fun, very insightful. You can just simply go ahead and keep the link that you have. And once everything is done settling in from the live, it should be able to rewind and start over. And you could, definitely collect a bit more notes and info in case you missed that website or whatever it is I pointed to. But other than that, I just thank y'all for coming. This is session number 2. Session number 3, it'll be sometime this week. And so, just like last time I gave y'all homework, this time your homework is, now that you downloaded the module or downloaded the app, I want you guys to have fun in downloading some of the modules, but just don't download anything, right? Try to, go ahead and take a read at it, But hey, if you do, explore. Go ahead and download anything. See if it helps you. Take a read on it though, just to see what it is that you're trying to get at. Or for next session, you can just have some questions, right? Matt, I want to know, what's the best app for this? Or the best module for this? What's the best Bible dictionary for that? What's this commentary do? What's so great about this translation? Hey, definitely have your questions, So the next session, now that we laid out all this overview stuff, we will strictly be getting into tool building. All right, tool building. We're just gonna go right into the tools. Talking about which ones do what more, and from there, just showing how you add to your module, you add to your sword. And hopefully I have the Google Drive link so you guys can do the terrible shortcut. Other than that, just going to close out with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for just blessing us to be able to gather together, Lord. We thank you, God, for the love of your wisdom when it comes to your word. I pray, God, that every person that is on this panel, even the people that left, I pray, God, that there would be just a true spirit of clarity that will follow them, Lord, in their prayer, in their times of study. I pray, Lord, that as they grow closer to you, that you would heighten their sense of wonder and curiosity. And I pray, God, that in the end, it would make them more like you, and for them to delight their souls in you. I pray, God, that you would keep us, united in any ways that we possibly can, despite our different views and beliefs. I pray, Lord, also that you would continue to let your will be done in all of our lives, God. And I pray, Lord, that you would just strengthen the Christian brethren, oh God. I pray, Lord, that you continue to have your will be done. Thank you, Lord. Keep us safe until we all come together again. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I pray. Amen. All right. I'm going to see you guys. See you guys next time. See y'all later on this week.
No problem, sir.
Okay, and that was excellent. And so let's end this out. All right. Mindful Me says, this is fantastic. Let's Get Biblical says, listening in. All right, guys. Hey, everyone, get on Clubhouse. Please, I'm telling you, get on Clubhouse. Get on Clubhouse. Just get there. Find me there. Peace.